Hi, my name is Jonathan Black, and I hope if you're in the UK at the moment, you're enjoying what I am enjoying, which is an amazing British summer here in London. It's absolutely fantastic weather, so thank you very much for tuning on for us. I want to talk to you today about a topic I get asked to advise on a pretty regular basis actually, whether it be from a strategic point of view, advising organisations, or from a tactical point of view, in terms of advising individuals who have to initiate conversations with a certain type of difficult person that I call the interrogator type of difficult person. But before I do that, I want to take a quick segue and make a very strong recommendation as well, off the topic, I know, but quite important. If any of you are close to the Tower of London, here in London, and are looking for a fantastic burger, definitely recommend Gourmet Burger Kitchen. Had one the other day, and absolutely brilliant. I don't own shoes in it, but I certainly believe that if you make a great product, people should know about it. Gourmet Burger Kitchen, Tower of London, fantastic burgers, and you certainly won't regret it. The interrogator type of difficult person. The interrogator type of difficult person. This is probably the most common type I come across in terms of the difficult kind of rubric that I get asked to coach people on and advise people around. There are others. We have to be very careful when it comes to typologies that we recognise that they are kind of broad kind of concepts around difficult people as well, and broad kind of tips in dealing with them. But increasingly, whenever I talk to people about this particular type of difficult person, I often get people looking at each other in the room in training courses and workshops, and you know they're thinking about somebody they have to deal with, or have dealt with in the past, or they know they'll have to deal with in the future in some particular way, shape or form. And I often get people telling me, this describes the person I have to deal with to a T, basically. So in brief, an interrogator type of person is somebody who's very detail focused. They're very entrenched in their perspective around those details as well. They're very selective in terms of their particular perspective. These are not big picture people. They will take often very disparate bits of information and put them together into some kind of coherent whole in their eyes, that when you look at it, an objective person just would not reach that kind of conclusion based on the information they had given. And they do this repeatedly. And this is a way they use to intimidate people, a way they use to warn people away from them, because they're just really hard work and having to deal with them. They're very impatient people. They will often require of you information or access to stuff or an outcome on something in very unrealistic timeframes, but will often dilly-dally at getting back to you in some particular way. These are the individuals who will repeatedly write long emails, capitalise things. You know, they're quite they're very, very difficult people to deal with, and those are some of the characteristics around them. When it comes to managing them, one of the things we tend to do, of course, is we tend to avoid them, and it's something we really should not do. It's a tactic that they use to get their way, because they will use delays in addressing issues, which in our eyes are quite reasonable, because we're trying to get material together, or simply give them a chance to see our kind of point of view, or we think if we're a little bit reasonable, maybe they'll come around to our way of looking at things. But they won't do that, and they will use avoidance against you by criticising you for taking so long. Their key strategy, their key tactic, is to cast you as somebody who is fundamentally incompetent, somebody who's not good at what they do, somebody who's unprofessional. So they will be hypercritical, they will look on errors, they'll focus on mistakes, and all the little things that actually don't mean anything in the big picture of the discussion you're having, but for them they will simply strip away at you like taking layers off an onion, basically, at the end of the day, and it'll be a very bitter and very sour experience. One of the big errors we make is we fall into the trap of trying to please them, because generally speaking you can please reasonable people, but these are difficult people. They cannot be pleased. And one of the key tactics that an interrogator will use is when they believe that you are mastering something, when they believe you are actually answering questions, you've got the initiative, they will shift the goalposts. They will simply put in something else on the agenda. They will raise another issue that you're not prepared for, and the big trap we have is we try and deal with that issue there and then, partly because we want to be responsive and partly because we don't want to create another meeting. But you actually have to create another meeting, because by being unprepared, that's a tactic that they use on a topic to come at you again, and you walk out of that meeting feeling that you're just not very good at what you particularly do. The final tip I'd give with dealing with the interrogator type is to redefine what you mean by success. As I mentioned earlier on, we fall into the trap of trying to please these people, but you can't. So why do that? That doesn't mean we shouldn't be professional. That doesn't mean we shouldn't provide an appropriate response with the appropriate answers in that particular way. But why would you want to try and please somebody who does not want to be pleased? Because if they're pleased, then it removes the power that they have. So we have to redefine what a successful conversation means for us, and that means being very clear as to what our agenda is, being very clear as to, in our eyes, defining what the objective of that engagement happens to be, and what we are defining as success, and using our definition of success as the basic arbiter of a successful outcome, rather than that difficult person's definition of success, which is basically for you to be unhappy. The interrogator type of difficult person, I hope that makes sense to you. I'm sure it does for many of you. I come across this a lot, and I hope those few tips are worthwhile as well. Thanks very much.